Alright, welcome back everybody to another session of Can We Play Ultimate X Perfectly, and explaining some of these more tricky, challenging hands here. It's been on a bit of a roller coaster lately, a little up and down. Hopefully the winning streak continues and we can keep this run alive. Let's get into it. Four to a flush. Nice. Good way to start. Got some threes. One gap straight flush draw. Just the ace. Two pair. Always keeping two pair. 48 multiplier sum. Sixes. I caught both the 12s. Alright. Again, two pair. This time we got a 39 multiplier sun. And we got a pair of queens. Not losing here. Alright, let's keep it going. I got an inside straight draw though. Looking for a 5. Striking out. Pair of queens. Just the ace. So far, nothing unusual. Some 5s. Pair of 7s. Four to a flush. 2, please. I can't get mad about that, I guess. We'll take a 10x. It's better than getting none. One is always going to be better than none. Got some 10s. Ooh, that's nice for kind of out of nowhere. We'll take it. Pair of queens. Seven, 8, 9. Straight flush, homie. We got a straight draw there. Because that queen has a flush penalty to the 9. That does bump up going for the queen versus that inside straight draw quite a bit. So this is Jack King suited +1. Because there's no 9, 10, or other high card there. This is Jack King +1, that 4 clubs. We'll keep the 4 clubs up until a multiplier sum of 32. We will then drop it and go for just the Jack King suited. Multipliers were too low there, so we're going to hang on to that extra club. Pair of aces. Hey, there we go. No multiplier, but we'll still take it. Pair of jacks. Some 9s. Open-ended straight. Okay. One is still better than none. Nothing really unusual yet. King +2 with the 3 to the flush like this. There is an inside straight, but the 3 to the flush is more valuable because of the 10x multiplier plus the flush paying 30. So we're always keeping a king with 3 to the flush. Always, 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 no matter what. If it's just king by itself, of course. Got some 9s. There are some exceptions to that rule, but it's only like if you have an open-ended straight or other high cards involved. But usually speaking, when you just have a king and 2 other suited cards to it, you will almost always keep that 3 to the flush. Here we got just the ace. So here we don't have a flush penalty to ace, but we do have a 10, 10 being the anchor. So there's no flush penalty to the ace. We have the 10. We have we have a 3 of spades, which is low straight interference. And then we have the 8, which is on the other side of 5. So because we have 8-3, this would be ace at multiplier sum of 20. So we're too low to discard the king there. We're going to keep them both. Hey, another quad. There you go. Keeping it going. This is both the ace and the king. Because the ace has a 4 of hearts flush penalty, but you also have king with 3 to the flush, you'd have to be at 31 or higher to go for the ace king. And because the ace has a flush penalty, we're keeping both of these. We're high enough to go for it. I believe we're at 39, so we're high enough to go for the ace king offsuit. But because we have the flush penalty with ace, we're always keeping both after this. We're not going to drop the king at any time here. We're always going to keep that king. Pair of threes. Looks like we got a whole lot of nothing there. There's nothing there to keep. No inside straight. No two suit. There are flush suited cards, but no like one gap two suited cards that are high enough to go for that because you have interference. Again, a very commonly misplayed hand. 4 to a flush versus 3 to a royal flush. Ace Jack 10 is a very weak pull to the royal. So because this is Ultimate X and the flush paying 30 and giving you a 10x multiplier, this is much more valuable than going for that 3 to the royal flush because of the gap structure. It's too weak of a pull. Very commonly misplayed hand. Some nines. Some twos. Some threes. Three to the flush here. This is one of those 3 to the flush you will keep for quite a high multiplier sum because you have a 7 flush penalty and you have a 9 straight interference penalty. So you'll keep this 3 to the flush for quite a ways. Didn't get anything, but that was the correct play. Haven't found anything really too strange to talk about just yet. This is still early, so that could change. Again, keeping that 3 to the flush as well. Multipliers are too low. And we have a flush interference with the 9 and the straight interference with that 9 as well. Here we have ace, queen suited plus that 9 of diamonds. 3 to the flush. Because there's another king of spades as another high card, we're always keeping that 3 to the flush. We're never not going to dump that 9 of diamonds. Always keeping that one. There's an open it and straight. Jack king off suit. Some tens there. I don't know why I thought I had an open it straight there for a second. Just the queen. So it didn't have a flush penalty to the ace there, but because we had that 3-4 low straight interference, that'd be 69. Multiplier sum before we would go for the ace. What do we got there? 3, 4, 7, 8. Yep, that's it. 3, 4, yep. An inside straight draw, looking for a 4. Wow, got it right where we wanted it too. Again, there's that king plus 2, 3 to the flush. Always keeping that. Again, if we caught it right where we wanted it. Pair of queens. So far, nothing too tricky here. Okay, here we have... Okay, so this is an interesting hand. Here we go. Here's a tricky hand. You have a 3 to the flush with the king, but you also have an inside straight with the jack. You have Jack 7, 8, 10 inside straight, and you have a 3 of the flush with the king. This is actually the inside straight with the Jack. Let's demonstrate this one. Let's talk about this one because we have something interesting to talk about. So let's go ahead and punch this in. We got King 10, 8, Jack 7. And we are at multiplier sum of 18. We're at 22 here. 22. As you can see, we're going to go for that inside straight. And then we would go for that somewhere, I think it's around 32 or 34 or something. Oh, wow. 6, 7. There we go. Whoops. Jumped up a little bit too much. Okay. So it's, I knew it was in the 30s somewhere. So at 37, we would go for the King Jack offsuit. Not going for that 3 of the flush on this hand because we can fill an inside straight and we have the flush interference there. So in our situation, we're going to be going for that inside straight. And we got 2. All right. Pair of 9s. We have Ace 10, 3, King 2. Ace plus 3 to the flush versus another suited high card. Again, the 10 is the anchor point in this hand. Demonstrate really quick. 2 of diamonds, Ace 10, 3, and a king. This is both at 39. And you would always keep these two after that, even up to max multiplier sum. Below 39, you're going for that 3 of the flush. Above 39, you're going to go for the king, the ace king suited offsuit. And again, that is because of the 10 flush penalty to the ace plus 1. That's what dictates this. So anytime it's that 10 again being the anchor point. So again, when there's a 10 in the hand, you have to look at what's the flush penalty. If it's to the ace, it's to another card, you have to kind of look at that. And does ace have a flush penalty or low straight? You kind of have to look at all of those options when making that decision. But in our situation, because we only have a multiplier sum of 18, we're keeping that 3 to the flush. And 1 is better than none. We got 3 to the flush again. Ace 5, 8, 6, 9. You're not going for the inside straight with 5, 8, 6, 9. Looking for that 7. You're not doing that. You're keeping that 3 of the flush again, the 10x multiplier, and the 30 that the flush pays. This would be ace at 33 because there's only one low straight interference card, and that's the 5. If there was 2, it would be ace at 35. So we're keeping that 3 of the flush. You can still fill the flush, or you can still fill a jacks or better. Got a pair of 3s. Got some 8s. Some 9s. Threes again. Pair of queens. Sixes. King, queen suited. 40% of the royal, as they say. 2 pair. All right. Multiplier sum of 39. What can we do? We're going to keep that king jack off suit. At least we hit that 12x. Got some aces. Can we get quad aces again? Maybe. Alright, we got the... Again, here we have the ace has a penalty, flush penalty to that 5 spades. So we're always keeping both cards in this situation. Never not throwing away the king here. Some 5s. Some jacks. Hey, another random quad. We'll take it. Wow, look at that. Quads are coming out of the woodwork tonight. Look at that. so here we have, again, we have the anchor point of the 10. Okay, we have that ace with a 3 to flush penalty. We have the 10, and we have 2 low straight interference cards to the ace, 3 and 4. This is ace at 38. And our multiplier sum is currently at 21, 25, 28, 23, 26. What do we got here? 3, 6, 9, 12, 16. 16 plus 12. 28. What do we got? 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got what? 34, 35, 34, somewhere in there. So we're still too low to dump that 3 of the flush. Queen Jack. You never go for a 3 to the flush over Queen Jack offsuit unless you have a straight flush draw. Or there's an ace involved. There's a couple very specific instances. Multiplier sum of 39 again. That's a very nice hand. All right, so we got another big hand coming up here. Got some 5s. Looks like we're gonna have another winning session. Some 4s. Oh, wow, look, I didn't even notice that. Just got that quads out of nowhere. Wow. Machine is on fire. Just the queen. Wow, pulling a flush out of nowhere, too. Keeping it rolling. Got some 4s. Pair of queens. Got some 5s again. So this is another one of those plays. You have an inside straight versus the ace. You have only one of the prerequisites you need to go for the inside straight over the ace. Which is you do have a flush penalty to ace. The 2 other prerequisites you need would also be 2 low straight interference cards by ace, so you would need 2, 3, 2, 4, or 2, 5. We only have 1 card, so we don't have that prerequisite. And the third prerequisite would be you would have to have no multipliers. We have a 3x, so we don't meet any of the prerequisites in order. We only meet 1 of 3 to be able to go for the inside straight over that ace. Speaking of inside straights, 4, 5, 7, 1 gap straight flush draw. Again, oh, nope, we have a, almost didn't see that one. We have 3 to the royal. Yes, you are not going to go for an inside straight with 3 to the royal. Alright. Got some 9s. Pretty decent session so far. Got some 3s. Some 8s. Yikes. Again, this is King Jack +1, so this is 32. There's again no 9, no 10, no other high card. So this would be 32 before we would drop the 5 of spades. Got some 9s. Again, we have another inside straight with the jack. We had the other example earlier. So let's talk about this one because this one doesn't have a 10. So I'm assuming that because there's no 10, we would go for at a lower multiplier sum the King Jack because there's no 10. We were like 36, 37 before, I believe. So let's see what this one's at. So at 32, because there's no 10, you would go for the King Jack. offsuit because there's no 10 involved in this one. So our multiplier sum is low enough that we're going to go for that inside straight. Didn't get any, but that is the correct play. Full house out of nowhere, we'll take it. Just the ace. Pair of queens. Hey, another full house. Inside straight. Yikes. Here is Jack Ace suited +1. This one is because the 10, you would drop the 3 of spades at 101. Multiplier sum of 101, you would drop that third penalty flush card. Sevens. Some sixes. Some fours. You know, I did get a comment the other day. I guess I could kind of address it in the video if the commenter is watching. They were asking about what website do you play this on, and I responded to the commenter that this is actually a genuine IGT video poker machine. This is an IGT G20 machine that I'm using a HDMI scaler to be able to capture the signal coming out of the computer on this. I'm splitting the signal out of the computer that goes to the monitor on the game and splitting that into a HDMI scaler that can handle this bizarre refresh rate that this game has. I'm able to capture that directly into my computer. So what you're seeing is actually the real game footage that you would find in a casino. There's no emulators, there's no ROM hacks, there's nothing like that. That's just as real as you can get. You can only modify so many settings of the games, and what I mean by that is all I can change really is like the denomination that we play on, the pay table, and the games available. As far as the RNG and all that kind of thing, I have no control over any of that. So I wanted this to be as authentic as possible for you guys, because I didn't want people to think that this is like, you know, oh, well, you playing online and you're just getting lucky because it's online. Like, no. I wanted to show people the reality of when you play right, how the game actually plays when you're playing the correct strategy, what to expect, how much further your money goes, that kind of thing. As for online playing, if you want to play online, check out videopoker.com. Check out their pro training on there. They have a lot of free games you can play as well. They have Ultimate X training on there. The app that I use, this is the Play Perfect Ultimate X, or Perfect Play Ultimate X, or it's like Play Alt. It's like ULTIX. It's this app here, Perfect Alt X. That's what I use. That's a paid app you can get in the Google Play Store or on iOS devices, and it's a great tool to be able to train and learn the proper holds. Because it has all the different pay tables. As you can see, you have different pay tables in here. Again, my story was I learned the crappier pay table because it was the most available in my area, as opposed to learning the best pay table, which is like a unicorn. So I wanted to have the most options of where I went. I knew how to play. But anyway, videopoker.com. This app specifically. Great resources to be able to learn how to play these games. The pro training membership is totally worth the money. This app is totally worth every dollar. And then it's up to the user to really put in the time to try to learn the proper holds and play the proper hands. Like I said, it's a very grind. It's a grind. I'm not gonna lie. To learn it all, it is a grind, and it takes quite a bit of time and practice and patience. The biggest factor you're going to have is just learning and remembering the holds. The best way to do it is to kind of break it down, kind of like what I've been doing, is breaking it down into groupings like straights, flushes, and then double inside straight flush versus this. You kind of want to break everything down. That's the best way to really do it. Anyway, enough of that. We'll kind of just get back to the gameplay here. Speaking of that, we have a double inside straight flush versus two offsuit high cards, ace and queen. This would be, what do we got here? 2, 4, 2, 4, 7, 9, 11, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23. So this is going to be ace queen. We can demonstrate this one as well. So we're at, what did I say? 2, 4, 7, 9, 11, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23. And we have, what we got? 5, 7, 9. And queen, ace. And again, the hold is queen, ace. And then because of the 5, and the other two cards above, 5, 7, and 9, you would then go for the ace at a multiplier sum on this one of 43. Like that. Because our multipliers are low enough, we're going to keep the queen ace as opposed to going for that double inside straight flush, but not high enough to go for just the ace by itself. Got some 2s there. King, queen suited. Let's see, got some 5s. Got 3 of the flush there with the jack. Not going for the inside straight. If we had an inside straight, we could fill like this with a jack. When the 3 to the flush, we would do that over. That. This is somewhere around 56, 57, 58-ish, somewhere in there before you would go for just the jack. Yikes. Just the ace. And again, you go for these, these 3 to the flushes, these inside straights. You're trying to maximize, obviously, your multipliers, per hand, because you're paying for that multiplier. So you need to get as many as you can, because obviously there is going to be a point of diminishing returns, but you need to maximize your opportunity as well. So playing for the multipliers is the way you play for this, and then obviously the math dictates when you change strategy based on how many multipliers, right? Here's an example: Jack 10 Queen off suit. People always, a commonly misplayed hand. You keep all 3 of these quite commonly in Ultimate X, and you actually keep that up to quite a high multiplier, some over 100 actually. It goes up quite a ways. Jack and an ace there. Ace had a flush penalty, so we're keeping them both always. Got some 3s. Just the ace. Open-ended straight. Alright. Open-ended straight. A lot of times, as I find, straights like to come in pairs, back to back. King, queen off suit. Got some 5s. Seem to be going the wrong direction here. Just the ace. Got some 8s. Twos. We'll take a full house. Just a jack, not going for that inside straight. There you go. Catching that 12. Got a pair of kings. Single gap straight flush draw. Alright. Still better than nothing. Just the ace here. Some 5s again. Yikes. That is a lot of jacks are better considering. Some 6s. Wow. 2 pair. Alright, multiplier of 30 coming up. King, queen suited. Alright, that turned that into a winner. Going for that inside straight with the ace. This would be king and ace offsuit at 41. Otherwise, we're going for that inside straight. You would always keep king ace after that because ace has that 3 of spades flush penalty. Alright, we got one. We'll take it. Pair of jacks. Not losing this time. Nice. Open-ended. Like I said, those straights, I'd love to come back to back. Not going for that inside straight either. That is, again, you have one here that has one of the prereq. Actually, you have 2 prerequisites, but you're missing the third, which is we have 1 multiplier up there. So going for the ace over the inside straight against the ace there. So 2 out of 3 were met, and look at that, full house times 8. That's great. 8's coming back. Another full house. Look at that. King, queen here. Oh, wait. No. Let's double check that. So we have king, queen versus 3 to the flush. This would be king, queen at 23 because there's an ace with 3 to the flush and there's no 9. If there was a 9, it would be king, queen at 30. Technically, I was correct when I said king, queen offsuit, but I did want to talk about the 3 to the flush here because it does change the outcome here. We're at, what are we at here? We're at 19 plus 7. We're at 26. So we're going for that king, queen here, not the 3 to the flush. Like I first initially said. 6s. Full house coming out of nowhere. Alright. Some 5s. A lot of 5s coming up tonight. Look at that. And striking out with the 5s. Speaking of 5s, 3, 4, 5. Not keeping the ace there because it's a straight flush draw. Not going for the inside straight. Some 6s again. Man, a lot of 6s and 5s today. Not bad for a pair of 6s. Jack, king suited. What do we got there? 5, 6, 7, 10. Nope. So we're gonna go for that 3 to the flush. No inside straight. So then there's no inside straight, but a 3 to the flush. You go for the 3 to the flush. And 2 is really good for a 3 to the flush draw. With nothing else. Pair of aces. Can we do aces again? Nope. We haven't. I'm gonna make a video about this here, a little short, but we have 5, 6, 7, 8 versus a pair of 5s. 5s are not a 2, 3, or 4. They're not, a high pair, but because they don't pay as much, they don't pay as much as 2, 3s, or 4s. We go for the 5s in a much higher multiplier sum, which is 76 is when we would switch over and flip to those going for just the 5s. In our case, we're going to keep the open-edge straight. Again, they come back to back. This is an inside one. We'll take it. More 6s. Just the king here. Another full house. All right. Let's see. Are we at 31 there? 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 and 12 is 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. So we're still going to go for that 3 of the flush there. We need to be at 31 to go for that ace jack. Here we're keeping that straight flush definitely. Jack 8. Pair of 10s. Eights again. Two, please. Yikes. Even though ace doesn't have a flush penalty here, again, keeping them both. We have low straight interference. 3, 4, and then 8. This would be ace at 69. Go about 5 more minutes here before we wrap this session up. Just the ace solo here. Just the king. This time we're going to go for the inside straight with both high cards because we can fill it with 9-10. So we have 9-10. We're looking for a queen. So obviously it's better to go for inside straight with 2 high cards than it is with 1 because you can still fill a jacks or better. You have a better shot at filling the jacks or better. What do we got there? 2, 4, 5, 7, 10. You got nothing. No 3 to the flush. No inside straight. No one gap, like 1 gap, 2 suited cards. Speaking of inside straights. Yep, nothing else there. Straight there up top. 3, 5, 8 does not stretch. This was 6 card, perhaps. Aces. 2 pair. 39 multiplier sum. What can we do? Inside straight. Is there a 10 in there somewhere? Yes. Another inside straight. Yikes. No kings anywhere to be found. Straight flush draw. Not going for that 4. Not keeping that and going for the inside straight. Just the queen. Another roller coaster ride session, up and down. But again, that is the Ultimate X variance. Here we are. We have, again, an ace plus 2 to the flush. So we have a 3 to the flush with the ace situation here. We have 1 low straight card. So this would be ace at 33. Trying to fill that flush. Nope. Again, going for that inside straight, keeping the 2 high cards. Another inside straight draw, looking for a 7. Nothing. Aces. Alright. 7s. Missing all the 10s. Speaking of 10s. Some 6s. Just the king here. You know, just for the last couple hands, let's see if we move over to the higher denomination and see if anything interesting happens. Just for the heck of it. A couple minutes here. Some 8s. Just the king. You do have an inside straight versus that king, but you would have to be at 13 and above multiplier sum to go for the king over the inside straight. And we are sitting at 6, 12, we're sitting at 15, so we're not going for that inside straight. Ooh. Well, that would definitely be a hell of a royal right there. You got a 1 gap straight flush draw there. Yikes. Some 4s. Alright, bring us back in. Alright, some 9s. I think I'm going to spin off those multipliers right there. Full house right there at the bottom would be great. Nope, but hey, still, you know, I don't know again. I did not pay attention to where we started on the bankroll here and where we finished. I've just been more focused on the hands, but I'm not 100% sure, just like last session, if we're ahead or not. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But I know at one point we were over 700,000, so not a horrible session, not the greatest session. We did have a lot of quads, a couple interesting hands in there, and definitely a decent session. On that note, guys, I will catch you guys next week. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all those fun things, and we'll keep making these videos and keep exploring this game. And I got some more clips in the works for you guys on some of those trickier breakdown hands, like straights versus low pairs, high pairs, that kind of thing. And there's more ideas in the works. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening or morning, wherever you're watching from, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.